I take this opportunity to welcome Swami Brahmavidananda Saraswati and to introduce Swamiji. I think may I request Santosh to please come over. And just to add, Santosh was instrumental in bringing Swamiji over, so I think we thank you for that as well.
Good afternoon, everybody. You know, there's an ad on Indian television, the fog deodorant ad, and I'm an advertising guy, so obviously I'm going to start by talking about an ad. That ad actually shows an elephant in a premises, and people are trying to get the elephant out. And it says, the corona elephant is almost out, only the tail remains. Protect yourself, stay safe, and life should get back to normal soon. So the corona elephant has turned many things upside down. No longer do we know where our workspace is, no longer do we know where our home space is. Lots of things have changed thanks to the pandemic. Also, in terms of our own lives, we are really questioning what are the things we really value. Is it our health? Is it making money? Is it our family? So a lot of things are being questioned. Yeah. Also, as CEOs, a lot of anxiety related to the way we run our business. A lot of anxiety related to things that we do in terms of our team members, in terms of our employees. Is it the right thing to do? Is it the wrong thing to do? Should we set goals? Should we set targets? All of those things are being questioned. So in that context, to have a person like Swami Brahmavidananda Saraswati today, who has spent the last many years of his life devoted to talking about the ancient wisdom of India, I thought would be appropriate in the context of this forum at this juncture in our lives. So let me tell you a little bit about Swami Brahmavidananda Saraswati. He actually was a marine engineer, working as a marine engineer till the time he was 24, traveled the world, and then decided to go and listen to his own calling, which was to go and learn the ancient wisdom. So he went to Rishikesh, where he studied the ancient wisdom with Swami Dayananda Saraswati for many years, for close to 10 years. He then returned to the city of his birth and where he did all of his education and work, which was Mumbai. And he spent the last 30 years using the ancient wisdom to take sessions with some of the top corporates in India, which includes Hindustan Unilever, Hindalco, and several other eminent Indian companies. So there couldn't be anybody better suited to actually take this session today than Swami Brahmavidananda Saraswati, because he's apt in doing business strategy as well as he's terrific in understanding the ancient wisdom. So over to you, Swami Brahmavidananda Saraswati. Welcome.
I hope all of you can see me. I'm a small man trying to do a big job. Good afternoon and my greetings to all of you, including the office bearers and the dignitaries here. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. And as Santosh was saying, a lot of things have changed. I wonder whether how many of us remember there was a time when you could just pick up our overnighters and walk into the aircraft. It was that simple. Then 9/11 happened. And you know, all the security checks we had to go 1 hour earlier. A lot of cribbing about it initially, a lot of outrage. And now, there's a new normal. Some of us accepted it gladly. I for one was glad that there's a lot of security checks. Okay? Because I have a lot of people, friends in the army, in the armed forces, etc. I know the importance of security. So I was glad. So for me, acceptance came very easily. For some, acceptance took time. It was more of a resignation. So now we are faced with a situation where, as Santosh was saying, we don't know what is home and what is work. The office has come home, and the home will come into the office. So, in this new situations, a lot of things have changed. From what I have seen in Bombay, do you know, expert bricklayers, contractors, builders are willing to fly them from their native villages to Bombay. Previously, they were not even given them a train ticket. They were willing to fly. Why? Hey, we need you here to work. You are not here, everything is held up. So it's almost like a power shift has happened from the senior management to almost at the worker level. Because they are the people who are actually doing it. And I'm sure there are plenty of stories like this here also. Though, in a way, from what little I have been knowing about Sri Lanka, you have an advantage because you're not manufacturer driven. You're not driven by manufacturing. Are there? I don't think there are a lot of manufacturing happening in Sri Lanka. It's more services, more distribution, retailing. So it's easier to make adjustments and shift, going online, hybrid versions. But all that calls for a very fundamental principle that in the Vedic tradition or the Indian tradition is acceptance of situations. This is a situation can be accepted. You have a choice between accepting it or resigning yourself to it. To reach a stage of resignation, you will go through various psychological stages. You will fight against it, you will resist it, you will be angry at it, you will be sad at it, and finally say, what to do, we have to accept. Or you have a choice of saying, hey, this is a new reality, I accept. It's not only all of you who had to do it, I, as a monk, I had to do it. I am a person who is happy sitting under a tree and teaching. I am not joking. I am not come with papers in hand or a file or something like that. What I teach is here. Okay. I am happy sitting under a tree and teaching, old school. But I also had to go on Zoom, on Slack, and I had to become forced to become tech savvy. Not that I am. I am not. But I had to do some things. Change. So the first day of the lockdown, I am on Zoom. Is it fine? New normal. Accept. Acceptance. If you don't accept, you are struggling. Now when I talk about acceptance, people may think, are we supposed to resign ourselves to the situation? Can we not do something about it? Of course. I mean, all of you are senior people in management. You all know one thing for sure. Your destiny is not made by the situation. It is made by how you respond to the situation. And as a human being, we are supposed to respond, not to react. All human beings have an ability to respond to a situation. That's your sense of responsibility. your ability to respond to a situation, however difficult the situation is. There's always a response possible. When we say we don't have a choice, we can't respond, we don't have a choice. You're not creative enough to see the choices possible, to create choices possible, or the other choices available have such disastrous consequences that you are saying, no choice, I will take this option. Okay. To talk about something from my martial background, guy is holding a gun at my head. Your money, your wallet, or your life? Do I have a choice to respond? Right? Of course I have. All I have to do is shift my head. The bullet will go past. Before he can fire a second time, I'll break his neck. Hopeless situation? It's only all of us are not martial artists. Correct? Do you think I am going to risk my life for the 1,000 Sri Lankan rupees I have in my pocket? I'm not going to do that. I'll say, yeah, take the wallet and go. I'll get a good look at you. I'll inform the cops, get you differently. Or I can say as a monk, it's only money, yeah, the poor guy is struggling, pandemic. Give it to him, let him be. Yeah, as a sadhu, I'm supposed to be compassionate. All these choices are available for me. But we have option blindness. We are not creative enough. So I'm not here to tell you how to do your job, okay? That's not, you are experts, not me. But if we focus on this part, that the choice is yours. Response creates your destiny. Your response is your freedom. Whether it is at an individual level or a global level. What do we do with Russia and Ukraine? A lot of choices are available. A lot of diplomatic choices were available, not taken. It's huge. If I start that topic, it will become a big debate. Okay. But there, even still it is there. Yeah. Still it is there. Yeah. We only have to find creative ways of doing it. So that response, to focus on my response. Now a response very often becomes a reaction. That is a difficult part of it. Why? Because we are responding. In the name of responding, we are reacting. It's coming from our negativities, our fear, our anger, our greed. It's not coming from a well thought out thing. So to focus on my strengths, to focus on my long-term priorities, to focus on people. People build institutions. So those institutions that empower people will grow. And for that, one need to take a long-term focus. Because your response will become on your priorities. Now, what do I mean by priorities? Okay, I define it slightly differently in the Vedic wisdom or in the Indian tradition. It is a need behind your desire. A guy comes to me and says, Swamiji, you know all these corporate guys, can you find me a job? I say, you want a job? Where do you want a job? Swamiji, what is this? We have to make money, na? Acha, you want money, that's all. No problems. Many of you, all of you are from India, so you know. Open a vada pav stall in Bombay. You'll make tons of money. The place where Santosh and I come from, there's a vada pav stall. The guy makes a profit of 10,000 Indian rupees per day. Profit, clean. Yes, sir. You're starting off your career, isn't that? Every day you get 10,000. And he works only for 4 hours in the evening. Good enough for you? Start. I can't do that. Why not? Huh? See, there is no social standing. So run a vada pav. I don't have social standing. So your job is not only money, it's also social standing, isn't it? The stated desire is job. The priority behind is not only financial independence, also social standing. So if we focus on what human priorities are, us, our company, the people who work for us, the nation as a whole. Why? Humanity as a whole. What are our priorities? And we are not all that different. We are not all that different. All of us want health. All of us want love, affection, respect. All of us want intellectual growth and a little bit of spirituality. At least enough to handle stress. That much all of us want. Common to all human beings. No? When is it not common? In which part of the globe it is not common? Which time? 6,000 years ago too? No, it is not common. So my response needs to include this, my long-term priorities. Otherwise it will be like what happened in this corporate. A new CEO was coming in, okay? I'm sorry, it's a joke at your expense. A new CEO is coming in. So the old CEO is handing over the things to him. And he gave him 3 covers. Labeled 1, 2, 3. Open only when you have a big crisis on your hands. Sir, okay? Thank you, sir. That's nice. So after about 7, 8 months, huge crisis in the setup. No, I can't find a solution. So he opened a cover. First cover. Blame it on the previous CEO. Fine, I am safe. I blamed it on the previous CEO. I'm fine. You manage the situation. After all, you manage it anyway. You have the skills for it. You'll manage it. Another year went by. Again, another crisis. Time to open the second cover. Open the second cover. Do a major reorganization. Fine. Major reorganization. Fine. Another year, third crisis came up. He opened the third envelope. Start making 3 envelopes. CEOs change every 3 years anyway. How are you now going to fit in to the long-term perspective of a company or a nation? So, are you for lifelong employment? May not be lifelong. Because when I am changing every 3 years, my tendency is to see that I have a good record. I have shown profit for the company. It's reflected in your balance sheet. But that is immediate. Am I sacrificing the long-term gains for the immediate gains? That is bad for an organization or a nation or an individual. For short-term pleasure, am I going to give up my long-term life? Idiotic. Then why are we doing it with our companies? One needs to keep our long-term perspective. I may not be there. I'm doing something, the fruits of which will be enjoyed by the next generation. I'm creating teachers for the future. In the process of setting up something to create teachers for the future. Am I going to be around? No. How long will I be around? 20 years? 25 years? Because my astrologer has told me I have a long life. That's a problem. Who wants to live long and old age and suffer? So I have a solution. I'll sit in Samadhi and go. But what about the next generation? Next generation, my students will take care of it. So your students have to become teachers? Yes. You will not be there to see the whole thing. I will not be there. So what? This is how the parampara kept going for thousands of years. Long-term perspective. An ancient wisdom. Otherwise, how long do companies last? 25 years, 30 years? And most of the time companies fail because one, long-term perspective is not kept. Second, in your response, whether you like it or not, your value structure is involved. Your value structure is involved. Yeah. You say, hey, now this monk is talking all about what we have started hearing from my parents when I was a 5-year-old onwards. No. If I ask you all, which is your favorite movie? In choosing a favorite movie which is nothing but a time pass for us, your value structure will be involved. Want to try it out? Anyone tell me what is your favorite movie? Anyone? It's okay. Maybe Santosh can volunteer. He's bindas enough to do. So please, what is your favorite movie? I'm sorry, I'm a little hard of hearing.
Die Hard 1.
Die Hard 1. Ah, beautiful movie. I think I've seen that. Sir, what made that your favorite movie? Because I'm sure you've seen at least 100 movies. Why is this one of your favorites? He rise to?
The hero wins at the end. The hero wins at the end. The hero wins at the end.
So what is the value behind it? Overcoming things, overcoming show. There's something that you value a lot in your life. Probably reflected in your life differently. Not like Bruce Willis, but yeah, differently is reflected in your life. You can't help it. It will come. Then why not do a value clarification and be in harmony with the universal ethics, not religious ethics, not morality, but what is universal? Good ethics makes good business. Everyone repeats it. So I'll say something. If you're an honest man, you'll make tons of money. I hope all of you can believe that. It's true. I'm sure if you look into your own experiences, you'll find that is true. I was doing for a program, like Santosh mentioned one company, Hindalco. So I had done communications, team building. Then I was talking about corporate ethics, because I was associated with the company for 5 years. 5, 6 years. So I made the same statement there. Good ethics is good business. Yes sir, we have heard that. Bill Gates has said it. Narayan Murthy has said it. Asim Premji has said it. We accept that. Fine. All right. That means a honest man can make tons of money. They started looking at each other. Sir, it's a bit difficult to believe. Okay, let us examine it. I said, does Hindalco have a quality policy? No, of course. Is it successful? Of course, sir. Our reject percentage is fraction. I said, good. Now, can you have a good product or a good service without honesty and integrity? I will make this at this temperature, this pressure. I will deliver what I have promised. Without honesty and integrity, how do you make a good product? They said, yeah, that's fine. That much is there. I said, do your customers come back to you, or they buy once from you and go away? Sir, not only our customers stick with us, they bring in fresh customers. We don't have to advertise. I said, very good. Good. That means what? Your customer loyalty. Unless they are getting value for money, unless they are getting good care, care expressed as after sales service, will they stick to you? No. So that is also there. These are all values, no? Ethical values. Yeah, it is there. Okay. What about your internal customers? What is your attrition rate? Says, sir, we have sometimes fathers are working, children are working, grandchildren are working. I said, hey, excellent. That means you take care of them also. You're taking a lot of care. You value them. Otherwise, they'll leave and go. The old statement, people don't leave companies, they leave bad bosses. Isn't it true? Yeah, it's true quite often. I dealt with 100 companies, I know. So, all these values are there in your company. Is Hindalco making profit? This was 20 years ago. So, the post-tax profit that was over some 950 crores Indian rupees. That's big money or small money? 20 years ago, that was big money. Then you have values or you don't have. Are you following some ethical values or are you not following? I mean, am I saying that they are following all ethical values? No, they are not. I know where the things are off. I walk through a company, I know where things go off. I know where it is off. What they are not following. But they are following some. So, value clarification for the companies. We need that for a nation as well. Individuals, companies, organizations, nations. Think win-win. We all hear about it, but how many of us really do? Eventually, all of us have to get together. In some ways, all of you are competitors with each other, isn't it? But you have an Indian CEOs forum. Why? Because you're thinking win-win, come together and do things. And cooperate, collaborate, not only compete. Yeah, I like that slogan. Leveraging mutual strengths. That's what win-win thinking is about. The government and the companies and the government, companies with each other, public sector, private sector, cooperation. All this is necessary to build up industry as a whole, a nation as a whole. Now, I am not a Modi Bhakt. Okay? I am a Desha Bhakt. I am a Guru Bhakt. I am a Bhakta of the Lord. I support Modi. That Atmanirbhar is actually a spiritual value. Self-dependence, independence. To depend on yourself. But you also work with others. You think win-win. So with all these, okay, in other words, what am I saying? Are you willing to live by an idea of dharma? All this what I've been talking about is dharma. Dharma is a highly misunderstood word. Dhareti iti dharma. What sustains is dharma. And what is it that sustains a business? What is it that sustains a country? What is it that sustains an individual? Vyasa writing the Mahabharata says, in those days, there is 3000 BC. He says, with uplifted arms I declare that from dharma alone will come peace and prosperity. Nature is teaching some tough lessons. Of course, you will find aberrations happening. Afghanistan, Ukraine, Kashmir. Things will happen. It's part of the game. It's always a part of the game. We are human beings. There's a time for peace, there's a time for war. So it's okay. Yeah. It's okay, it's perfectly fine. But are we willing to live by the universal principles? There is a tendency in companies. Let us be customer driven, customer centric. You can never be. Why? The customer wants it for a song. He would like it free if possible. Can you give it free? How are you going to be customer centric? If you're money centric, you will never make big money. Why? Because you're so much after money, the customers will leave you. This guy is charging too much here. Whether you're a small vada pav stall owner or you're running a corporate, you can price yourself out of the market. So you can't be money centric. You can't be customer centric. Can you be management centric? There will be resentment among the workers. Worker centric, then they'll have a good time. That's what communism is about. Like in Kerala, what happens? You can't run a farm in Kerala. So, what is it that will work? Being principle centered. You are principle centric. You work by universal principles that work. The principles behind family, the principles behind work. Everyone requires work. Why? It's a human need. It is not a corporate need. You need to feel productive. The parameters of productivity will change. In a manufacturing setup, the productivity is measured differently. How many pieces without error? Within the tolerances allowed. In a software company, it's different. What are the solutions found? Even a sadhu has to be productive. Has he reached out to people and made them understand some things? So everyone has a need to be productive. It is not a corporate value. It's a human value. It's a universal principle. They need to be productive. So that is the principle behind work. Love and nurture is the principle behind families. Physical, emotional companionship, the principle behind relationships. Nurturance and care. So all these principles make up life. This is ancient wisdom. It works everywhere. Principles work. They will work across the board at any time, at any place. Does it guarantee success? No. It guarantees a better chance. Because what? Your idea of success itself will change. What is the idea of success? Managers are hired not to make excuses, but to produce results. Famous corporate statement. Nobody makes results. You do what you can. Results are taken care of by nature's laws, Ishvara's laws, God's laws, call it what you want. They make the result, not you. You make the result. Okay. Make a result. Prevent this from falling down if I open my hands. Can you do that? The principle work. Nature's order, gravity, it will work. What do you go in outer space? There is no gravity there. Who told you there is no gravity? You don't feel the earth's gravitational pull. But the force of gravity is across bodies. Heavenly bodies are kept in place because of gravity. You don't feel the pull. You can't measure the pull. So, they are universals. Value will differ. How much applicable, not applicable will differ. The love and care that you can show your colleagues or your juniors is different from the love and care that you show for your family. Will differ. However much you say is family, as long as they are here, they are family, isn't it? But the principles work in different measures. If you can do that, follow that. What's the new normal? New normal? New normal is something that's happening. It's happening all the time. You think new normal is happening now? There was this guy who was being accused of being modern and not following tradition because he started wearing a fig leaf. Talking 20,000 years back, the guy wore some leaves around his waist. He says, what is this? You're breaking tradition. We all go naked. Today is the other way around, isn't it? Happens all the time. Things change. Things are meant to change. If things didn't change, it will be a very boring world. Swamiji, you can say that, but isn't it difficult? Okay? We are Indians, we all enjoy Bollywood. Correct? This guy makes a Bollywood movie. Okay? What is Bollywood movie? There is this beautiful couple. They have a young boy. He's growing up. Brilliant in studies, brilliant in sports. He walks into the top college in Bombay. Brilliant. There he meets a girl. I'm talking a little bit in stereotypes, okay? Brilliant in studies, brilliant in dance and music, as well as economics and things. They fall in love. There is no rival on the horizon. There is no villain on the scene. Parents are thrilled with each other's choices. They get married. They have a child, like how the father was. Another part of the same city, another couple like this have had a child. That girl is also growing up, like how this mother grew up. This boy is growing up, brilliant in studies and sports and everything. That kid is also growing up like that. They go to the same college following the family traditions. They both meet each other. No rival on the scene. Parents are thrilled. They get married. They have a child. And the film ends with a snapshot of 3 generations. Will this movie run? The producer will have to sell a shirt. But there is no plot, there is no twist and turn, there is no villain, there is no drama. Make a movie like Die Hard, it will run. I loved that movie, I saw that movie. I loved it. The triumph of the human spirit. It's great. Are you seeing what I'm trying to say? Life will be a pretty boring place if everything is smooth. You wouldn't like it. Anyone who has played a sport knows it. It's tough, I'm doing this. Hey, but I mean, at the end of the day, hey, we had great fun. Great fun. I have a broken nose. My whole body is aching with all the punches I have got. But we had great fun. It's true, we had great fun. A sport is like that. Whether it is martial arts or boxing or football or cricket or whatever, or caroms or chess, the whole thing is same. It's a So, change is constant. Except. So to sum up, I would just say this, all that I said in 3 words. Accept. Innovate. Adapt. Overcome whatever has to be overcome. That's all there is there. What else is there? There's living. And situations can be bad, but our life is great. Yeah, my life is great. Yeah, pandemic didn't affect you, not at all. But you didn't travel, correct? So I was happy sitting at home. Isolation, you're staying alone. I'm staying alone, so I'm a monk, I'm happy being alone. Your classes, everything on Zoom. What about the Guru Dakshina and all you get because you live on that? You don't charge anything, correct? That also came in. So whatever you need came in, yeah, whatever I need came in. And what didn't come in, I don't need. Simple attitude. This is universal again. It's true. If you live like that, irrespective of what the situation is, good, the bad, the ugly, your life can be great. you'll build up institutions that will survive. That's important, isn't it? Institutions, nations, etc. should survive and thrive. Not only just survive, should thrive. And that will happen. So if there are any questions, shoot. Otherwise, I'm happy to call it a day. I'm an old man, so I sometimes speak too much. Okay? So I have to be conscious of that. So, no questions? Happy to call it a day. So all the best. I enjoyed being with all of you. Thank you.
Swami Brahmavidananda Saraswati, thank you for your words of wisdom. I have a dilemma. Before, when you asked that question, I was actually thinking that I don't have a favorite movie, and you are looking at values from the movie. So I said, like, you don't have a movie, you don't have values. Just joking. So now I'm busy looking for a movie actually. I'll take Mayank's guidelines for sure. Sorry. So thank you, Swamiji. Thank you, Deputy High Commissioner. Thank you, Dr. Rakesh Pandey. And as on behalf of Prakash and the Board of Indian CEO Forum and everybody present here, we thank you all. And request all of you to join us for lunch. And the buffet is open now.